This is Ashley Gatta, and you're listening to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
Join Martha Pover, mother, chauffeur, and former toothpaste tester at the Indiana University Dental Study Unit.
Now here's a mother with an eye for value. When Janie outgrows her coat, it's still perfect for Betty. Almost like getting an extra coat free.
Sleek, sophisticated, seductive.
It's doggy time. All right, says here that you need 10 kilograms of plutonium. They said a nuclear power plant is not recommended as you have to extract and separate it from the fuel rods, which is a pretty messy job. And they also say besides large quantities of missing plutonium tends to make plant engineers very unhappy. And it also says to fabricate a detonator for the device, you have to obtain a radio-controlled servo mechanism. You know, I can already tell this bomb is going to be more trouble than it's worth. Paws up, my cats and kittens. You are listening to Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com. I am your host and humble narrator, Bone Doggie, here to remind you, beware of Greeks bearing gifts, wolves in sheep's clothing, outlet store knockoffs, and skinny jeans, because the devil will quote scripture to suit his evil purposes. And it is a hearty howdy-do and welcome to this, the 23rd episode of Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com. Very polite applause there. Thank you very much. And had a little bit of news today in the wonderful little magazine here. It's called Little D After Dark. That's put out by the Denton Record Chronicle. Our dear friend Lucinda Breeding puts this thing together. And the July issue, my cats and kittens, is just chocked full of the Denton Radio family. On the cover, we got brother Matt Grigsby, who has been on the show once or twice, and I remember such great hits as this one.
Like a few hours later, I had the EP. We recorded it all in one afternoon.
Who'd you record it with?
It recorded with Metamorphosis.
Where's that at?
It's at my house now.
There's brother Matt. I remember that one. Matt's been with us for a long time. He's got a little group called the Merry Monsters, plays around town, and he also fills in for Bone Doggie up at the open mic when I am either gigging somewhere or incapacitated in various other ways.
My advice to you, start drinking heavily.
There's a lovely little story in there by Lucinda about the Denton folk scene, which Matthew is a very big part of. And also the article itself features our very own, the lovely, the talented Karina Michaela.
Wowie zingo, Bone Doggie. I'm just filled with girlish anticipation.
That's funny, Karina. I myself am also filled with girlish anticipation. That's a little dose of Karina right there. And the equally lovely and talented L.E. Taylor is in there, who we as of yet have not been able to nail down to get in this studio, but we're working on that. So if you go around, look for Little D After Dark. I know they got them up at Banter. I'm sure they've got them at probably Jupiter House and a couple other places around town. Pick one of those up and check it out. It's kind of a neat little magazine. The June issue featured DentonRadio.com. It's a very lovely story in there. And I had the honor of actually being misquoted 2 or 3 times, which was awesome. Thank you very much. Well, I do not say man, but I guess it added more fortissimo to the actual quote. So, and it makes me sound hip. So, and yes, your humble narrator has been accused of being a hipster. I am still trying to figure out what that means. I haven't the slightest idea.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Anyway, something else that's going on here, July, the lovely month of July. This is the 10th anniversary, count them, 10 years anniversary, my cats and kittens, of Dan's Silverleaf. Now, Dan Silverleaf has been probably one of the most incredibly instrumental, if I may offer a pun, venues that have actually brought music to the city of Denton. Really, it's probably one of the best venues here in town. They have some of the great acts. They have a lot of really good local acts. They have national acts will flit through Dan's every now and then. It's just got a great ambiance to it. You know, nice little bar right next to the stage. which is very good for the Hellraisers. You know, you could just kind of play a little bit and then lean over and order something. So that works out really good. Also, they call Dan's the birthplace of little Miss Sarah Jaffe, who's made Denton proud for quite a long time. Hares on the Mountain plays up there a lot. Rex's Bunch, Boxcar Bandits is a regular fixture up there, as well as Brother Paul Slavens. And so, you know, there's a lot of Denton acts that flit in and out of Dan's. He's very supportive of local music. The Hickory Street Hellraisers, Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers have played there on several occasions. We had the honor of playing their election night in 2008. While the country was making history, the Duchess and Mama Doggie were spilling their drinks on Pops Carter. So that was quite the monumental evening. And we also got to play up there at Halloween and just had a great time. So happy birthday, Dan's, and a heartfelt thank you so much from Denton Radio and Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers and all the rest of the family. 10 years doesn't seem like a long time, actually, after you think about all that Dan's has done for this community. So a big, big happy birthday to Dan Silverleaf from all of us at DentonRadio.com.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
It's doggy time. Paws up, my cats and kittens. This is your host and humble narrator, Bone Doggie, here to remind you that every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., Doggy Time sets fire to the airwaves on DentonRadio.com by bringing you news and information, innuendo, murder, mayhem, and the best of Denton music, not to mention the humor, love, and insight straight from the lights of Backwater Opera, Soul Tax, Ashley Gatta, and of course, the occasional Hickory Street Hellraiser, just to name a few. Now we know that as we suffer the day-to-day slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, my cats and kittens, you can't always bank on being in front of one of these digital contraptions every Tuesday night. Well, old Bone Doggie is here to caress your earbones with a bit of joyous news. You can hear Doggy Time anytime simply by going to DentonRadio.com and clicking the button on our player that is sporting the visage of yours truly. Or if you want the direct route, visit our blog at DentonRadioblog.com and click the Doggy Time button there. And as an extra bonus, my cats and kittens, you will also have the past episodes of Doggy Time at your fingertips. Paradise is but a mouse click away. So feel free, my cats and kittens, to sit back, relax, and at your leisure, listen to Doggy Time anytime on DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
We can dig it.
I knew that you could.
And now, friends, another edition of Bam Bam Cares.
If you sync up The Wizard of Oz and play Shawshank Redemption backwards, your friends will stop coming over for movie night. Bam Bam Cares.
Tune in next week, friends, for another edition of Bam Bam Cares.
We just wanted a list. Albatross? Nope. Never heard of them. Curve? Nope.
No, these are all alternative bands like Bare Naked Ladies and Our Lady Peace. You need glam. Just what's the Lay It on the Line? Type Google Lay It on the Line.
Okay, lay it. Latch.
Lay it on the line.
Actually, YouTube would be faster.
Triumph.
Triumph. That's who it was. That was the other Canadian band, Triumph.
I like how Canadian bands were just verbs.
I know. Rush, Triumph, Allied Forces. Slaughter. Actually, yeah, those are verbs. You can rush to something. You can, oh, here it comes. I'm probably going to get in trouble for playing this.
DentonRadio.com does not own the rights to this, nor are we
advocating the playing of this song.
Or any glam rock, really.
That's right. Well, you know what? I started out in glam rock. There it is. This is distributed by WMG.
Via YouTube.
Via YouTube. Okay, that's enough to probably get us sued right there.
All right, little 30-second clip.
Skip ahead. See it.
Dig that
there you
setup.
go.
We are Canadian Kiss, eh?
My God, look at the size of those drums.
It's like I got 4 bass drums, eh?
That's overkill, if you ask me.
I found 2 of them at the bar.
We get our drums at the bar. Somebody in Canada is going to leave their drums at the bar, and we just take the rest of them home with us.
I'm saying.
Okay. That's very cool. Well, if you have not figured it out, my cats and kittens, we are sitting in the studio, and guess who dropped by? It is none other than... Yeah. Is none other than Bam Bam.
How's it going, DentonRadio.com listeners?
Hello, say out there to the listening audience. They're waving back at you. I can see them now.
I can feel the waves.
I'm talking to them with my brain.
Right on. Must be a short conversation.
Pretty much. I've shut it down for the evening, so the brain is on. What would you call it?
Sabbatical.
No, not quite so much, because we have to bring it back here in a little bit, but we'll autopilot. Yeah, we'll stick the brain on autopilot.
Okay, that's how I spend most of my day.
On autopilot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're driving around Denton these days, aren't you?
I am. I'm delivering auto parts for a company that I won't mention on there because I'm not paying them Napa.
Well, it's a shame that you can't mention them, Napa, because, you might get in trouble, Napa.
Yeah, no, seriously, Napa. These guys have no idea. People get paid a lot of money to say, where they're working and what company they represent, Napa, and I just don't feel like one of those people, Napa.
Well, plus they're not paying for advertising, Napa, and if we asked them, Napa, and they would probably say, yeah, because I'm sure they'd like to contribute to DentonRadio.com, Napa, and maybe get the word out about them,
Yeah,
Napa.
I think even if they asked me, Napa, I wouldn't though, Napa, because I'm an artist, Napa, and I have integrity, Napa.
Right. And integrity means everything, Napa.
Yeah, and it would be ridiculous, Napa, if I said that they were located on Dallas Drive next to Frenchie's.
Frenchies use Napa?
Oh yeah. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
So see, because I've never actually seen one of those trucks moving.
Sometimes they move. Sometimes we even deliver parts in them. But
I think they just move them around at night, because I've never seen one driving down the road.
They stay in this really weird state of constant disrepair where there's always one out, but it's never the same one in the week. It's almost like a cruel game that fate has played on the drivers.
The cruel Frenchies game of hide and seek, really, with these vans. Like I say, I've never seen one driving down the street.
What you don't know is you see them all lined up with their "Welcome to Denton" signs, and I mean, these are giant orange trucks. You can't really miss them.
Yeah.
But you only see like 6 or 7 of them parked out front, and what you don't know is back there's about 30 more of them.
Really?
Lined up, and those are the ones that they use. I mean, he has specific signed trucks, and that's what he does.
Right.
And I mean, he's been doing that since we moved to this town.
But how do they get them to where they're at? I mean, like I said, you wake up one morning and you drive up to Whataburger, which is not too far from Napa, and there's a Frenchie's truck sitting there.
Yeah.
And you don't know where it came from.
A lot of the ones, he stores the crap that he decorates the trucks in those front trucks.
Oh, okay.
So like every now and then you'll see him pulling letters out of there, and there's like a giant statue of a colonial guy holding an American flag. And
that's awesome. I'd love
to have
one of those.
Frenchie, if nothing else, the guy is very patriotic.
Well, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I don't know if he's a veteran or not. He might be.
He might be. We'll have to ask him next time we see him, Napa. Because Frenchie's is right next door to that other place that we're not talking about.
Yeah, we're not paid to mention that, so we're not going to.
Yeah,
no.
but it's next to Napa.
Yeah, Napa.
So, which is across the street from what's the name of that little restaurant across the street?
Oh man, again,
the Cowboy Cafe or something.
The Old West Cafe.
There you go.
Man.
Yeehaw.
that place is always so... I've never eaten there because everyone else is.
Looks like cholesterol city to me, isn't it?
You know
Which
what?
is good. I'm good.
That's
I'm good
the
with
food that tastes good.
That's right. Cholesterol.
In case you people out there don't know, gluten and bread, that's where it's at.
That's right. That's right. You can shove some mustard on there and a little bit of lettuce and beef, and you're good.
Yeah, man, just hook that bucket right up to your face.
That's
You'll be in good shape.
Ah, the trough thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel like a glutton, but then, you know, I take a nap and I'm cool.
I like to take a nap too, especially in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock. You know, I get up real early and I start working, and then in the afternoon I just want to take a nap. You know.
They're gonna have to pay me after this.
Oh, we'll take it.
I'm
to
like,
them
man,
on
I
disc.
just plugged your store 8,000 times.
We'll take it to them on, yeah, we'll take it to them on disc and force them Napa to pay royalties Napa, because we'll tell them that there's like 700 people listening to this radio station at any given time, which I'm sure there are. You know,
you got a pretty good listening audience. I mean, I personally never listen to your show, but that's because I know you.
Get out of my office.
Yeah.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor. I'm going to replace you with another child. I'm sure I have one. If not, I can make one that looks just like you. So
I doubt that very much, cowboy.
That's probably true. Probably true. You know, you are kind of hairy. So, all right. Well, cats and kittens, we have obviously got Bam Bam in the studio, and we are fiddle farting around here. And I think now what we ought to do before we sally off into the great unknown, Napa, is to, we should probably play a song.
Yes. What do you got up first?
Well, it's one of my favorites, Napa, and it's by a dear friend of mine, Miss Polly Maynard, or Miss Polly, as
I
everybody
dig
calls
this.
it.
This is a good sound that she's got going on.
She is great, and she sings to the children's, Napa, and she hangs around here in Denton. She was actually on the show one night and did one of the best gig schedule skits that we had. It was great, Napa. But she doesn't work for Napa. She actually teaches music. And so anyway, what we're going to do, she has her own music school, Napa, and it's not Napa. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to pull Polly Maynard off of her album All Day Fun, Napa, and play track number 13, which is called Napa. It's so sad. And you are listening to Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it, Napa?
I can dig it, Napa.
I knew that you Napa could.
My mother is a mean one. She said sweep the dining room. My dad is even meaner. He said this time use a broom. My parents overwork me. They're strict as they can be. They said if I don't sweep it right, there's no dessert tonight.
It's so sad, it's so bad, it's so bad, and it's so sad. It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My life is a misery. My candy's under lock and key.
It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My mother is a mean one. She said go and wash your hands. My dad is even meaner. He never understands. He said to use the soap this time and get up all the dirt and grime. And if my nails were shiny bright, there's no dessert tonight.
It's so sad and it's so bad, it's so bad and it's so sad. It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My life is a misery. My candy's under lock and key.
It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My mother is a mean one. She said bow your head for grace. My dad is even meaner. He said do not make that face. He said give thanks to God above for his undying lasting love. And if I couldn't act and try, there's no dessert tonight.
It's so sad and it's so bad, it's so bad and it's so sad. It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My life is a misery. My candy's under lock and key.
It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My mother is a mean one. She said finish up your rice. My dad is even meaner. He said do not roll your eyes. He said that I was very rude to criticize cheese. My dad is even meaner. He said, use your napkin, please. He said that if I ate it all, I'd grow up to be big and tall. But if I just put up a fight, there's no dessert tonight.
It's so sad, it's so bad, it's so bad, and it's so sad. It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My life is a misery. My candy's under lock and key.
It's so sad and it's so bad today.
The supper's done. The plates are cleared. My gut's so full I hurt. But still I know that I can find some room there for dessert. It is one of my favorites, a chocolate caramely goo. I ate a lot, but no, it's not worth the heartache. I've been through.
It's so sad, it's so bad, it's so bad, and it's so sad. It's so sad and it's so bad today.
My life is a misery. My candy's under lock and key.
It's so sad and it's so bad today.
Come in, 005.
004, sir.
004? What happened to 005?
Well, I'm afraid he's 00 dead, sir.
00 dead? Are you 00 sure, 004?
That's a 00 doornail, sir. 00 done in 00 Dubai, I believe.
00 damn. This is a 00 disaster. 005 was supposed to go on a secret 00 mission.
Would that be the 00 mission to seek out and infiltrate the live music scene in 00 Denton, sir?
00 dash at 004, that's supposed to be a 00 secret.
With respect, sir, live music in 00 Denton is no 00 secret, sir. Everyone knows about it.
Are you sure, 004?
Oh, 00 definitely, sir. Sir, if I might make a 00 suggestion, I'd like to do my 00 duty and volunteer for this 00 mission in place of 005.
That's bloody 00 sporting of you, 004. You realize, of course, this is a 00 dangerous detail. Are you up for this sort of thing? This 00 business could get bloody.
00 positive, sir. I'm 00 ready to go.
Very well, 004. You will be 00 dispatched to 00 Denton to seek out live music scene in place of 005.
00 righto, sir.
Oh, and be sure to stop off and see 009. Pick up some of those 00 gadgets you chaps are so fond of.
Where's the rest of the disclaimer?
Just the red part's all you need to.
Well, it starts with "and we need."
Yeah.
And we need to remind you that this information was not solicited. We got it all off the internet, so if it's not exactly correct,
it's not our fault. That's right. No responsibility taken, none paid for, Napa. So, what is happening in the world of Denton music? As we look around, let's see, Thursday, July 12th, that's coming up. We got, this is at Dan's Silverleaf, which is over there on 103 Industrial Street, Denton. We got Boxcar Bandits, that's Rex and his bunch.
Nice.
And our dear friends, Backwater Opera.
Oh, that's going to be a good show.
That's going to be a good show. That's going to be just bluegrass out the wazoo. The show starts apparently at 9 p.m. and the cost is $7 to get in the door. And then at Dan Silverleaf on Friday, which is Friday the 13th. Whoa. Whoa. We got the lovely Terry Hendricks, which is probably no relation to Jimi Hendrix. And Lloyd Maines are going to be up there. That show's going to start at 7:30, so we got an early bird thing going on there at Dan's. And
you don't even have to pregame it.
That's right. And this cost is $10 to get in without the pregame. And both of those shows are 18 plus, my cats and kittens over there at Dan's Silverleaf. At Haley's, let's see, on Friday the 13th, Haley's is 122 Mulberry Street here in Denton. And we've got Daniel Watts, Markdown Madness, DJ El Toro.
Nice.
And the Mexican Lions. And that show's going to start at 10 p.m. The cost is $2, I guess, if you are over 21. And $5 if you are under.
Oh, it's an
21.
18 and up show. Those are rare,
18
man.
18 and up show. Well, maybe it does says age limit all ages, so we're just guessing that it's $2 if you're over 21.
Don't park at Hannah's. They will tow your car.
That's right, my cats and kittens. Do not park in Hannah's parking lot. Although I do have a get out of jail free pass.
Yeah, you do. That really would have been nice for me. I could have saved $350.
Well, you should have told them who your mama was.
Hannah will tow you.
Yes, they will. Hannah will tow you. So Saturday, July 14th at Haley's, we got D Snacks, Ghost of Industry, and Stray Nimbus. I have no idea who they are, but they sound great. Okay, it's 10 p.m., and that show, the cost is $5 for however old you are, and $7 for however young you are. How's that? I like that.
Could work, yeah.
That's a good
I think
segue.
so.
All right, at Rubber Gloves. Oh, this is going to be a great show. Saturday, July 14th. Kitty Holt's Bunch, The Red Death.
Ah, great
be
band.
up there, along with our good friends Soul Tax.
Very nice, very nice.
Sid Wright and Aaron Pugh and Nathan Norman, and I can never remember that bass player's name. He's a new bass player. He's a good bass player.
Yeah, he's really good. I like him a lot.
And The Fuss is going.
Oh,
do you know The Fuss?
Have you ever seen The Fuss?
I have not seen The
All
Fuss.
right, check it out. It's this one guy with a really nice, like, hollow body archtop guitar.
Right.
And a drummer.
Cool.
A really good drummer.
Right.
And they kind of do. It's like the White Stripes. If the White Stripes were good.
Okay.
Yeah, and they put on, for two guys, they put on such a good show. And like, I mean, he does drumstick tricks, and the guy's got a good voice, and they're all, I mean, yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Go see The Fuss if you get a chance. We played with The Fuss back when the Hellraisers were a ska band, and we were opening for Flame Trick.
Oh, okay.
And so it was us, Flame Trick Subs, and The Fuss, and we opened the show, and I sat back and just watched the rest of that concert.
That's awesome.
And it was awesome. It was a good show.
Very good. It's hard to get your attention like that. But when
The Fuss is awesome. And I mean, you know, Red Death, Kitty Holt. That's one of my favorite, like, frontmen in any band ever. Like, she is awesome.
She is. She's great.
She's got great stage presence. And then Soul Tax, like, that's a band full of talent. Like, that's going to be a really good show.
Seriously, that is going to be a good show. That good show is going to be on at 10 p.m. The cost is $1 to get in.
Nice. I think I might end up at that show.
And it is $3 if you are too young to pay $1. And the age limit is 17 plus on that. That's at Rubber Gloves, which is over at 411 East Sycamore Street.
And Saturday,
That's Saturday, the 14th. That's this coming Saturday.
Oh, I think
we have to bugger on over there.
Going over to Rubber Gloves that night. I'm sorry, like, I usually don't geek out and endorse a bunch of bands, but The Fuss that's a good show.
Well, we'll have to go check those guys out then. And of course, we got our good old friends Banter, and let's see, Thursday, which will be the 12th, we've got the 2W2. Oh, the Sufi hand drumming. I don't know if you got to see those guys. They are really fun. So, I guess it's 2W2. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
What are they? They're just like a percussion group.
There's 3 percussionists, and they rock. It's
Very
pretty cool. And then of course the open mic after that.
I would like to do a side note on the open mic, because I've been hearing a lot. So we have a lot of comedians coming out doing the open mic night on Banter.
We have been, yes.
All right, come out and show these guys love.
Yes.
And if you're a comedian, come out and it's open mic. Sign up for the list. Stand-up comedy is so very, very brutal.
It is.
Like, no band has ever gone through what a single stand-up comedian has.
That's true.
And
true.
So go out and show your comedians some love.
That's right.
I've been hearing that they've been having a rough time out there, and that's
it's interesting to try to do stand-up in a venue like that, and it's hard to do. But I'll tell you what, it sharpens your sword, and these guys are getting better. They're
definitely. So yeah, if you're a stand-up, then come out, and if you're not, come out and show some love.
That's right.
Be open-minded.
Very cool. I agree with that 100%. We got a good bunch that come out, and They could use your support.
Stand-up is so brutal.
Friday the 13th over at Banter, which is 219 West Oak Street, if memory serves. We got classical guitar going on from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Neat. Good date idea.
And then, this is a great date idea. From 8 o'clock to 9:30, my dear friends, Wise Ruby. And Wise Ruby is just wonderful. They're just great. They're just excellent. Good duo. Two ladies.
Yeah.
Julie Livingston and Kathy Hare. Every now and then they got Neil McCord and Cynthia Kundal. Can never remember that.
That'd be a good night to go out and try and get tender with the missus.
There you go. There you go. And then to top off the evening, Friday the 13th at 10 p.m. is Ashley Gatta and the Free People, or the Freeps, as I like to call them.
I think I've met Ashley Gatta. I don't think I've seen her band.
It's a good band. It's a very, very good band, yeah. And Ashley and them are actually going to venture out into the world into the dark side. They've come over to the dark side. They're going to be playing with Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers at Abbey Underground on August 17th, along with our good buddies 1140.
Oh, brought another one in, did you?
That's right. So I'm going to ruin another bunch. But this bunch here, Ashley Gatta and the Free People, are going to be at Banter Friday the 13th at 10 p.m. That's always a lot of fun. And then on Saturday, the 14th, at 3 p.m., they got the Harp and Drum Irish Jam Session.
Cool.
With good old Mark Davis and that bunch. And 6 p.m., they got jazz, and it doesn't say who's going to be there, but there's going to be jazz. And then this is great. This is going to be awesome. We'll probably bop out of Soul Tax and them to go over and stick my head in the door at this. From 8 to 9 p.m., singer-songwriter show, Birdie Knoll.
Oh, no kidding.
From Levi Cobb, yep.
Yeah.
Birdie Knoll from Levi Cobb and the Big Smoke's going to be there. Doug Rainey, who's an excellent singer-songwriter, and the lovely, the talented L.E. Taylor is going to be there as well. So that's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
That's at Banter on Saturday night. And so
that's really good lineup if you're doing like a singer-songwriter. If you're into the singer-songwriter genre, that's a good lineup
because they are all good at it. They are all very,
yes,
very
they
good
are.
at it. So. Anyway, that's what's happening at Banter. And then this Friday night, my cats and kittens, at the Grotto in Fort Worth. It is 517 University Drive in Fort Worth, Tejas, 76107. You have got the Matthews Show, which is a bunch out of Dallas. We played there with them once before at the Grotto.
Yeah.
And we are playing there with them again. Bone Doggie and
cool.
the Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers.
I liked playing that place. It was a neat venue.
It was a cool little club. One of the great things I love about it is the fact that you get 60 people in there and it's packed.
Well, every time we go out of town, it's just such a crapshoot as to where we're going to play.
Yep.
Like, we've ended up in places that had 4 people and a Confederate flag hanging on the wall, and we've ended up at places that were like nice little bistros full of 80-year-old ladies that just weren't having it. But the Grotto was one of those really pleasant surprises.
Grotto turned out to be a good place.
Cool crowd.
And we've been wanting to go back there for a while. So we're going to be there with the Matthews Show, who ironically is going to be with us at Haley's on September 1. Matthew and them are going to come up. So if you don't get a chance to go down to Fort Worth and check them out, come out to Haley's September 1st, where we will be playing with Mockingbird Station and a group out of Austin called Danger Cakes.
It's a good band.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed their sound.
They are a lot of fun. So that's pretty much what how's that?
Yeah, that was good.
I just slid right off into that and fell right off the stage.
This is the mini stroke episode.
The mini what?
Mini stroke.
The mini stroke episode.
Mini strokes.
I like that. Well, that's what we got for the gig schedule. And I think it's time we got off into a tune.
Okay, what do we got coming up?
I don't know. No, we're not getting off in a tune. Let's get off into a word from our sponsor.
We have sponsors?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Neat.
All right. This is Banter Bistro.
Ah, yes, Banter Bistro.
Lovely in particular.
Come and get you a delicious sandwich.
That's right. And be sure to check out the open mic on Thursday night.
Yep.
Hosted by, what's his name?
Oh, God, what is that guy's name? He's kind of weird.
He's a legend.
A little creepy. He smells pretty bad.
He's a legend, Napa.
By the one and only Bone Doggie.
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, you know, Banter's a cool place if you've never been out there. It's good food, cheap, good tasting coffee.
And to show up at the right time, you're going to see Bertie Knoll and Ellie Taylor and Ashley Gadd and the Freeps.
You can check out
Bob
Wise
Ruthie.
Wall of Fame.
That's right.
All the artwork. It's a pretty cool place. I really like that place.
Let us go to Banter at this point. Push the button, Max.
Hey everybody, this is Karina Michaela. There are a lot of music venues in Denton, but I wanted to take this time to talk really quick about one I care about very much. Banter, a bistro at 219 West Oak Street, is one of the greatest places to play in Denton. From the open mic to CD releases, all of the artists there come together and support each other. The community at Banter is one unlike any other venue. Everyone is always inviting, complimentary, and true friends of every musician there. If you are an artist looking for a community that will embrace you, Banter is certainly the place you need to be. The address again is 219 West Oak Street, and their website is dentonbanter.com. Come hang out, get a sandwich or some hummus, and take in the local Denton music scene. Thursday night is open mic, and you are going to want to check that out. See you then!
May as well enjoy the sparkly lights. No point in putting up a fight.
All right, my cats and kittens, it is now time to sit around and yak a little bit. We got Bam Bam in the studio, and we have been joined by the lovely Heather, or Yoshi, who happens to be married to Bam Bam.
Mrs. Bam Bam.
Mrs. Bam Bam. Or Miss Yoshi. How are you, Yoshi?
I'm doing good. How are we here?
We're doing all right. We've actually been doing the Lord's work for the
no.
last few minutes. Yes. So
I get scared when you use words. Lord's work.
The Lord's work. Speaking of the Lord's work,
he just didn't say it was Lord Voldemort.
No, well, okay, it's not. Speaking of the Lord's work, one of the things I want to talk to both of you guys about, if you don't know it, cats and kittens, Bam Bam is a former bartender.
Former bar back and like part-time bartender.
That's right. And the lovely Yoshi is a current bartender.
And has been for quite a while.
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. That's right. We are surrounded by bartenders. All, of course, the Duchess from the Hickory Street Hellraisers is a bartender. We know a lot of bartenders, and there are a lot of musicians here in Denton that are bartenders.
Good
so
morning.
we have a great love, and we have a great sympathy. And speaking of sympathy, I was driving around today, and I was thinking about what we were going to talk about, and this is one of the things that I really wanted to discuss. Every bartender's got a story.
Oh yeah.
And we'll start with Bam Bam here. What is the weirdest thing that ever happened to you in a bar?
I've got a few.
And keep it clean.
Oh, God bless. This isn't actually a bartender story because I ran into way weirder stuff when I was a bouncer.
A bouncer, that's right. You did the bouncing thing.
And I did bouncing for a while, and man, just odd things. Because people, once they get to a certain level of inebriation, they revert back into like 8-year-old children.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
You
yeah,
are
you have to
lying.
like corral them and make sure that they're not getting their hands in anything sticky. And,
right.
I mean, like,
well, and also if you really watch the way they walk, some of them revert back to toddlers.
Oh yeah, it's like they've never walked before. But
You've seen one or two crawl.
Yeah.
I think that one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me, it was Valentine's Day, and it was a full moon. And it was like a Tuesday, so the bar was relatively empty, but this one couple came in that looked like they may have been less than sober already.
Uh-huh. A little bit of a head start there.
A little bit of a head start, but nothing, to throw up any red flags quite yet.
Throw up not being the operative word?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, they go back and they start playing pool because we were working, it was a pool hall. And everything was fine. And there was this elder guy that came in all the time, and he preferred things of an herbal nature. He wasn't much of a drinker. He was a pool player.
I see.
And so
a little bit of a more organic way.
Exactly.
Of looking at it.
And what he would do is he'd play pool and he'd sometimes offer to take somebody out into things like that. So he meets up with this couple that are in the back playing. They're a bit inebriated, and then all of a sudden, the guy in the couple starts screaming at this old man. And I go over there and I break it up, and I tell the older guy, I was like, go back to the bar, I'll find out what's going on over here. And what happened was a mix-up in communication. What this guy was doing, we're going to call him Jerry. What Jerry was doing...
Does Jerry work at Napa?
No, Jerry doesn't work at Napa, thank God.
Okay, so what Jerry was doing...
What Jerry was doing was inviting this couple out to the truck to indulge in illegal activities that are not condoned here on Bone Doggie.
That's right, we do. Yeah. You could get in a lot of trouble for that kind of stuff.
But for the sake of the story,
okay,
Jerry was trying to get this couple out to indulge. And a mix in signals caused the guy in the group to think that he was trying to seduce them.
Oh, ew.
And so he comes up to me, irate. He's just, and you can tell he's really upset. And he comes over to me at the top of his lungs, and he's like, that old guy is trying to, and he gets very graphic.
Right.
And I'm just like, that came out of your imagination, buddy. And I told him, I don't think that that's what's going on. I think this is what's going on. And I told him about Gerald's propensity for,
yeah, right.
We're going to call it amateur botany.
There you go.
And it's cool for a little while. And, so Jerry leaves, and the couple's in the back, and now they're fighting over why they were yelling at the old guy. The
couple is arguing,
are now arguing over
why they were hollering at
hollering at this guy. And so I hear the guy just kind of like throw down his stuff. He's like, I'm going to go pay the tab. He goes and pays the tab, and his wife walks out the door.
Right.
And I say, good night, happy Valentine's Day. And she leaves, and he comes walking up to me, and he goes, did you see where my wife went? And I said, yeah, she just went outside. And he was like, I really wish you hadn't let her go outside. And I was like, I'm a bouncer. My job is to keep people out, not make sure they stay in. And he goes outside, and he comes back 10 minutes later, and he can't find her, and their car is gone.
She left him there.
She left him there.
Oh,
okay,
my gosh.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy starts freaking out. He's calling her. She's not answering. He's calling her. She's not answering. And finally, he calls his brother to come and get him. And his brother comes in, and this guy's standing with me. He's upset, and, I'm just kind of trying to talk him down because he's already really angry. And apparently his brother says, I just drove by the racetrack down the street, and she's passed out in your car in the parking lot.
Oh, no.
And,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and so they get in the car, and they go to get the car, and then they come back 5 minutes later, and she's gone, and the car is on a tow truck.
Okay, so she's disappeared, and now the car's being towed.
And this guy starts yelling at me for letting his wife leave. So I kicked him out. That's the end of that story.
You should keep better.
Yeah,
the moral of the story is you should keep better track of your wife and your car at the same time.
Oh man, I realize, fellas, that multitasking is difficult, but that's important.
That sounds like such a headache. What about you, Yosh? I'm sure you've ran into, because you are actually behind. Well, you're a waitress as well.
Oh, waitress as well. Actually, most of my bartending I do during the daytime, and there I meet the really interesting people there.
That's what we hear. That's what we hear from the Duchess. Yeah.
There's some. Yeah. I've got this one guy. If anybody's seen the show Swamp People,
right?
The guy Bruce on there, I know him. Like there's a guy that comes in that looks, dresses, talks, everything.
Picture like a giant hillbilly in an American flag bandana, wearing nothing but overalls, no shirt, no shoes. Yeah, and he has Indian tattoos all over himself.
Can't understand a word he says. Like these are the kind of people, and it's amusing for the most part.
Right.
Every once in a while, you're like, okay, it's time to go. But the people really make it interesting, and as far as crazy things that have happened, I've been thrown over one of the pool tables there in a fight. It was my first fight ever there.
Really?
Yeah.
Was this a fight you started?
No, of course not.
Well, the bar we were working at, it had a very big, in the beginning, not so much nowadays.
Not so much nowadays.
They're under new ownership, and this woman has cleaned this place up, but we were work pockets.
Right.
And back in the day,
Pockets
that
was known as a
rough
pretty rough
bar. It was known as a rough
and
spot. Come out there.
That's right.
That's when I started there, and there was one evening everything was quite pleasant, and then there's a group of it just became about race, and you know the N-word was thrown around, and you know the one of the main guys there that was involved, I was there going, he'll listen to me, we'll call him Chuck.
Yeah. Chuck's a very nice guy.
Yeah, so I was like, no, Chuck, don't do this.
The names have been changed to protect not only the innocent, but protect everybody that's sitting in this room, my cats and kittens.
Who are on probation.
That's right, that's right.
So I was, no, Chuck, don't do this. And he obviously didn't see me until I was on the other side of the pool table, and he had thrown me over. So at that point, I'm like, you know what, that's not my fight. I'm out. I'm behind the bar at this point yelling, take it outside, guys. Take it outside.
Took refuge behind the bar, and he literally threw you over.
Literally threw
now,
me over.
To let you know, cats and kittens, our dear Yoshi is probably 5 foot.
5'1".
5 nothing.
I'm gonna call it
5'1".
5 feet tall.
She weighs all of 30 pounds, soaking wet, my cats and kittens.
I come from
so Yoshi is not a. Let's just say you're not a person of stature.
No, not huge stature.
You're not. You're petite, I guess, is the way.
Big ups though for asking a woman her weight on air, man. That's good stuff right there. Who says you're not pushing the boundaries?
That's right. We're edgy here, man. Well, I mean, we're sitting around talking about people getting drunk and doing stupid things anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I might as well. I'm stone sober, and I'm going to ask a question.
There was this one other time that
it was pertinent.
Particularly enthralling to me, because one thing that I don't know why, but I enjoy chick fights on TV and everything. I'm one of those. I can be a reality show junkie when it comes to those. Oh yes, I love cat fights. I want to see somebody I want to see some hair and
They get real. They get real.
They get very real.
Guys just go at each other with clubs.
Yeah, no, women go at each other with the claws and there's hair pulling
fangs and psychological warfare on top of that.
Oh yeah, and then stilettos. That's a weapon.
The difference between men and women.
And I'll get to that in a
moment.
Especially when it comes to fighting, and especially in a bar situation when alcohol is involved, is men do calculatable damage. Like you can write a check for whatever the aftermath of a guy fight is.
Right.
But women try and alter the rest of each other's lives. They're going for an eyeball or trying to snatch the front of your hair out.
They're trying to maim you.
Yeah.
You're gonna remember them for the rest of rest of your life because of them.
I'm so glad I live a sheltered life.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so.
Anyway, I don't get myself involved in these. I'll sit back and so this one
kind of breaks up the evening, does it?
Oh my! Yes, we were getting down to the mundane part of the evening, like the cleaning. Last call had been called. It was finish up your drinks and let's get going. And so I was, wiping a counter or whatever, and all of a sudden I look up, and there's 2 chicks fist fighting over here. 2 chicks fist fighting over here, and 2 chicks fist fighting over by the front door. So 3 different fights going on at the same time, and the bouncer is oblivious to it. So it's about all of us, and all of a sudden I look up, I'm like,
you look up and you've got a hockey game going on. And,
yeah. And I just I grabbed the bouncer at the time, and I'm like, Ted, chick fights.
Everywhere.
And I just start pointing, and he's like, "Oh my God,
we're surrounded by chick fights."
So there's there's a 2-second pause before anybody reacts, because it's just taking in this, because it's 3 completely opposite ends of the bar, and nobody knew what happened.
Probably none of them are related.
There's no telling.
How random is that?
So the bouncer grabs one fight, I grab another fight, the bartender grabs another fight. We get everybody out. It's just one of those. What just happened here?
See, and you guys were right to be hesitant, because as a bouncer, I can also explain that, and this is true for any bouncer. I don't care.
Get in the
biggest, meanest bouncer you ever met in your life, his name could be Bouncing Bob, and he has a giant scar down one side of his face.
Right.
This guy will hesitate if there's 2 women fighting. Because in a guy fight, you might catch a stray hit, and then you can hit the guy back, and it's a fight. You never look like the good guy if you cold cock a woman.
You can't do that.
Ever.
You can't do that. There's a code of honor.
Yeah, there is.
You can grab her by her belt loops and throw her out the door.
Do it. I understand. why you would want to sometimes. I broke up a fight.
Dude, sometimes he takes the pool sticky and you just gotta like pry him apart, and it's like, all right, you gotta use it like a javelin. Like,
but I broke up a fight between two girls when it was like my first week bouncing. I really didn't know much about security.
All right.
And one of those girls spun around and with 4 claws dug him right into that soft part behind my ear.
Oh, that's wrong.
I will never forget that pain as long because she was her size. This is a little thing, and I was completely and totally at her mercy. I was like, put me down.
So now we know how to take a bruiser down. 4 claws behind the ear.
But if you're a guy and you claw me, I'm going to hit you.
Well, I think you know, and I have spent thousands of years in bars. I think the oddest thing that I ever saw, I was in a rock and roll band. We were playing in Arlington. And at that time, it was a really good little rock and roll band. We had a woman singer. And she had changed clothes. There was a green room, and she had changed clothes in the green room and left her street clothes back in the back and was out on stage. And we were out playing. And I guess it was probably third set-ish. Okay, third set.
So you guys were all, it was an advanced evening.
It was advanced portion of the evening. Yes, we were well along into the evening, and everybody seemed to be having a good time. We had played this place a million times, you know, and everybody loved it. It's a nice little place. So anyway, we're sitting in there. A platoon, actually no, not a platoon, a regiment of Arlington's finest, dressed in blue, walked in the door and literally came in the door, divided and lined the walls of the establishment. Now, at the time, I was a bass player, and if I can attest to anything, Bam Bam can too. If you're a bass player, you can see everything that goes on. So I'm looking, and there had to be 20 cops in this place. They come in, they line the walls. They didn't talk to anybody, but they were scanning the audience. And so we're up there playing, and you know, I'm just playing along, and I'm starting to try to put 2 and 2 together. And I just happened to look up, and they had the rafters up there, and they had the lights.
But this is going where
you know exactly where it's going.
Awesome.
I looked directly above my head, and apparently the miscreant that Arlington's finest was seeking had worked his way not only up above the stage, because he was up there looking down at me. Oh, God. So we made eye contact, and
I wonder if the cops saw that.
No, they didn't. That was the thing. I have seen many improbable things. One of my list of improbable things is being on stage in Arlington and looking directly up and seeing a guy looking down at you from the ceiling wearing your lead singer, who happens to be a very shapely brunette, wearing her clothes.
Oh my God.
And I can safely say that he did not do them justice.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
So anyway, I look up and he's wearing the lead singer's clothes, and I just thought to myself, this is a topper. This is great. It's going to be hard to beat this one. So we got done. We finished the set. He stayed up there. I know he was up there for half of the set. And I didn't say anything. I just looked at him.
Go? I mean, that belt with those shoes.
Nowhere. And the thing is, we're up there playing, and after a while, I kind of worked my way over to center stage, and I nudged the singer, and I pointed up, and she looked up, and there's this guy wearing her clothes, hanging off in the rafters, and pretty soon the whole band knew that she was up there, you know. So we finished the set, and I believe our lead singer, I believe her name was Tracy at the time, Tracy, very discreetly wandered off the side of the stage and over to one of the corner policemen and sort of signaled that the guy's up in the roof and that we would like to finish our evening without him hanging above our heads. So Arlington's finest did pull him out of there and returned Tracy's clothes. And you know, that was just probably one of the oddest things. I mean, I've had other odd things, but
is so
totally random. Wow. You don't see it, you know. And so you know, you've seen your share of bar fights and things like that. So the moral of this whole story, my cats and kittens, is love your bartenders, love your waitresses.
We put up with some really, really crazy.
You do, because you know when alcohol is involved and other substances, which we don't talk about and do not advocate.
Believe it or not, we are your last line of defense before you go to jail that
Pretty
night.
much. You know, I know people whose lives have literally been saved because of a bartender.
Yeah. No, I'm taking your keys because you're not even looking at me.
Exactly. And you know, they'll do that. You know, this the Duchess was telling me, Abby was saying how she actually stepped between two 70-year-old men who were fixing to go at it.
Yeah.
And somebody was going to get hurt terribly, so she got
when
in.
You're 70, you don't care. You spend the rest of your life in jail.
What do I care? I'm 95 years old.
6 months free electricity.
That's right.
I'll be dead before I get sentenced.
Exactly.
See you later.
So you got to, you know, a bar is, you know, it's a necessary evil when you play
Very
live
much so,
music.
but be wary because it's not the safest environment all the time.
It's not, and the worst thing you can do is contribute to the madness.
Yes.
Which I have known some folks to do that.
And know your limits.
Yes.
No, do not sit there and overserve yourself.
No.
If anything, if you want to overserve yourself, then go home and do it in your living room where you're not a danger to others.
That's right. Yes, exactly. What you should do is probably test yourself. You should get up about once every 20 minutes and try to get to the bathroom.
Yes.
And if you can do it in a good way, then you're okay.
Without having it.
But when it starts to become labored, then that's when you need to start quitting about it.
You will know that you have had too much if you can no longer close your mouth. If you're just sitting there gaping like a minnow, just then yeah, you have had enough, sir. And,
no words are coming out.
You need a glass of water and a ride home.
So yeah, you got to love your bartenders and you got to love your waitresses because they have a rough job, you know. And like I said, it's sometimes it's a dangerous environment. Like bands play in bars. That's live entertainment, and a good club is a music venue. That's why I actually prefer music venues to
a bar.
Just a bar, you know, because at least with a music venue, everybody's focused, and if it's a good band, it puts them in a good mood. You know, everybody's there. Now I have seen bands turn crowds ugly.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I usually don't hang around there.
Well, back in my punk rocking days, that was kind of our job, was to incite the crowd.
Exactly.
But I learned the mistake of my ways when I got hit in the face with a microphone stand.
And they thought it was cool.
And it was my own mic stand.
Exactly. Dude, I love you. What?
They were like, "You're bleeding now. That's awesome." And I was like, "I am too old for this."
It was awesome for 5 seconds. It just sucks.
I will. So I guess the moral of the story is that rock and roll and playing live music is sometimes a harrowing business.
Very much so.
You know, on both ends, and so anybody working in a club. So if you do go to a club, if you do go to a venue, my cats and kittens, and you are out there in the audience, enjoy yourself, behave yourself. And support your bartenders and waitresses and the bands up on stage and anybody else who happens to be official and there for another reason.
Because the bands, they're doing this because they love to do it and they want you to love it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And really, don't throw beer bottles at us, and don't throw beer bottles at a Hellraiser. You'll get them thrown right back at you.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. Because you know, I can't corral everybody at one time, and sometimes you don't want to. But this has been most enlightening, if nothing else. If
trying to teach the children out there how to act.
That's right. Why don't you read that part right there? You read that, and Yosh will read the red part.
This part right here?
Yeah.
As always, my cats and kittens, we'd like to...
You went into the official voice.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, do it again,
As always, my cats and kittens, we'd like to invite you to keep listening to DentonRadio.com.
Napa.
And tune in for new Doggy Time show this time next week. That is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
Napa. That was pretty good. I like that.
And if you want to listen to
Start it over again.
And if you want to listen to Doggy Time
anytime,
you can just click on the Doggy Time button on our DentonRadio.com player, and that will take you to our blog at DentonRadio.blog.com, where you will also be able to hear past episodes of the show.
That's right.
You can also find Denton Radio on Facebook, and so just leave a post on the wall and let Bone Doggy know what you think of the show. Napa.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and doing this, guys. Napa. I really had a good time, Napa.
Good time.
Good.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Napa. So, all right. Well, we are going to finish off this evening with a little treat.
What are we doing?
What I have is the newest recording from Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers.
Oh, no kid! I haven't even heard this yet.
You haven't heard this yet. It's pretty good. It may not even be quite finished. It's about 90% finished right now, but it sounds really good.
This is the one. This is my last track.
This is the last track that you recorded.
So this is the last Bam Bam track available.
That's right. That's right. It is Kitchen Prose and Gutter Rhymes.
I love this song.
And it's a good tune, Napa. And we just recorded it, and we're fixing to do a video, Napa, with this tune. And
I'm gonna make them give me a raise after this show.
Yeah, I think so, Napa. You pretty should. So, all right, my cats and kittens. Well, here we go. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week, Napa. And we're gonna finish off with Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers.
Kitchen Prose and Gutter Rhymes.
And you are listening to DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I knew that you could, Napa.
Gather round and listen to a story, a tale of love and loss, and someone dead, a soul that would not rest after breathing her last breath, and how she ended up inside my head. Oh, I remember! It was December, each dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. The snow was falling, and death came calling, took away my dear Lenore. I was shattered, broken and battered, a void left in my heart and soul. Filled with the bleakness, I was left speechless as melancholy took its toll. There was a tattoo of her name inside my forehead. I know it's morbid, but she's always on my mind. And though my lady wife is dead, she still floats inside my head. Though I've been struck dumb, she makes me sing my love. Kitchen Prose and Gutter Rhymes. I could not mutter, no words to utter, silenced as my voice had fled. And as I'm grieving, I started singing, as a ghostly air rose up inside my head. She put a tattoo of her name inside my forehead. I know it's morbid, but she's always on my mind. And though my lady wife is dead, she still floats inside my head. Though I've been struck dumb, she makes me sing my love with Kitchen Prose and Gutter Rhymes. So now I'm haunted, not what I wanted, a dead girl in my head forevermore. Her spirit's clinging, I can't stop singing, singing about the lost Lenore. She put a tattoo of her